Got your back against the wall, no, you know you never had a chance. Should've known better, now you better make other players. There's no going back, gotta let you know in advance. This is Game Squad.
Guys, we're here with another deck profile, top 16 of this RBET.
Second in Swiss.
Second in Swiss, my boy Aaron. What deck did you play?
Stop, boys. Dream Frog.
Dream Frog, baby.
Hey, squatting it. Well, we can get into the deck profile real quick.
Yeah, I just want to say that obviously this is not my deck. This is James R, Bronte, Danny Yu. This is their creation. I really worked off of what they did, mostly Danny Yu's list. So I got to give them the shout out. I made a couple, I guess, changes, but I don't really think I did much of a value add to the overall deck. But happy to kind of go through the deck and share my perspectives. And I'm not going to go over stuff that's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah.
So for example, we played 13 frogs.
Standard to max out.
It's all standard. I'll give a shout out to Death Frog. He's the boy. You bring him out a lot. He crashes into stuff. He's honestly a bomb when you have Fishborg live because you always have a level 6 live. You search him with Duke Frog to make Solex live. Honestly, even when you draw him, he's pretty good. He's overall the boy. Wouldn't change anything here. Then we play 7 bombs. I think 7 is the correct number. This is Denny Yu's lineup. 7, I think, is the correct number. Some people play 5, some people play 6, but 7, you're seeing it, you're not really bricking on it. And honestly, this is really your win con. You don't I guess these guys kind of get you there and thinning out your deck, but you really need to see these guys. I think these guys are kind of mandatory, and you can kind of play around with these 3. I was playing around with these 3, maybe a second Lad or a second Junk or a Festalos on top of these guys, but ultimately this kind of felt like the most powerful, so I kind of went with 7. And again, this is Danny Yu's list, so or his line. And the last kind of 2 of just Gore's Fishborg. Fishborg, more than one, you kind of brick on it. But when you do see him, it's crazy. You know that game's going to be wild. For spells, these are really self-explanatory. 1 Soul Exchange, no Econ. Econ is a really powerful card, but I think that you can kind of brick on it. If you don't have Shoehorn access and you see it, it kind of just doesn't really do anything. Solex is kind of always reliable. Also, Econ, you will side out a lot game 2 and 3 because if you get crowed or you get soul released, you just don't have access, and it's also another good card. And also, I personally just think that Soul Exchange, Substitute this is the best 2-card combo in the format. This is way better than Shuro, Whirlwind. Usually when you see this and you go second, you're gonna win that game. If I could fit more, find a reason to play more, I would do that, but I can't. So 1, and I side a second 1. I played 3 Upstart. Again, this is Denny Yu's innovation. I've kind of followed his thesis where you lose the games where you don't see your engine, and this just kind of gets your engine going. There was 2 games that come to mind where I looked at my hand and it was 5 dead cards, and I drew this as my 6th card, and I went Upstart into another Upstart, and then I got 1 for 1, and then now all of a sudden my hand is lit. And I had another game where I think they went first and they ended on Duke Substitute, and again I had 5 cards, 6 cards was Upstart, 5 cards were dead. I went Upstart, another Upstart, went Brain, and all of a sudden my whole hand was lit. So it just kind of gets you there a lot of the time. One of the biggest cons with this card, I was talking to James R about this, is that it makes side decking really awkward when you're playing these 3 over maybe the 4th Discard Trap or the Fader and Dandelion. But the way that I kind of solved that, and this is kind of counterintuitive most of the time when you play Upstart, I just sided them out. So I wouldn't side all 3 out, but I was very liberal in wanting to side out 1 or 2 copies, just because these kind of are blank cards, and theoretically when you're playing the game, you want to side into cards that are going to be more impactful. But I don't think I would play this deck without the 3 Upstarts. That's how impactful I think it was. 2 Avarice, 2 Salvage. This might be maybe the more controversial idea. A lot of lists play 3 Avarice, no Salvage, or maybe they'll go 3 Avarice, 2 Salvage, or 3 Avarice, 1 Salvage. Avarice is your power card. In this deck, it kind of is your Miracle Fusion, but you do brick on it when you draw multiples, or if you just don't have your Substitute access. So it can get a little awkward, and I definitely have lost games where I just draw 2, and I never went going, so I just kind of bricked. Salvage, I think, though, is insane. I think if you're not playing this card, it's insane. When I originally started playing this deck, I was playing Bronte's list, but with the combo oriented one that he won Nats with, and he was on 2 Salvage, and honestly, I like Salvage more than I like Avarice. This card does so much for you. When you have when you open up and you have Salvage or Water and Swap Frog, it's search and substitute. This card is literally wrote up for substitute, gets your whole engine online. Mid game you can salvage, get 2 swaps back, give a charge Swap Frog, you can bounce a Monarch back. You can salvage, you can get 2 cards to discard for your traps, discard for your Fishboards. You can just use it and get a 2 frog back and then harden. Like, this card does so much, like it all saves the game. I genuinely think it's better than Avarice, and I would not play this deck. I think this is the perfect ratio, but I would not play this deck without Savage. Also lets you play through DV. This card is insane. Like, it literally does so much.
It's true. Definitely plays with DV.
And then trap lineup is just 3 Geki Break, Mirror Force, Dust Shoot, Torrential. I'm not crazy about Torrential, and honestly, like, I think this deck, if you don't, it kind of back to Upstart, if you don't brick on this deck, like, almost every game feels winnable unless you like mess up. And I'm like, I've messed up before. Like, I messed up like probably more than I should. But like this card will win you games that you're gonna lose, or like you kind of draw a dead hand. You kind of have like Deep Frog and then a Torrential, and like this kind of gets you back in the game. When you're winning, it can be a little awkward, but you can always discard it with one of your discard outlets. It can kind of like, you can lose games because you set this when you don't need to and you shut off your Treeborn access. That kind of like separates a good player from a great player. And I've definitely lost games because I've done that to myself, but like, you just gotta be careful with it. Like, ultimately, like, it's Torrential. Like, I think you need to play it.
You didn't like the Legacy of Yadas in the deck?
No, because like oftentimes, and I think this was Denny U's logic, oftentimes you just need to see it right now. Like, with some decks, if you just don't get tempo going, you're just going to get blown out, and so you just need it right now. The life point game, like, sometimes matters, but like oftentimes it doesn't. You just need to see the card right now. You need your engine going right now. Like fucking extra deck, I'm not going to show you. You can look it up on E3's channel. There's nothing special about it. I play like Life Transfer as an extra time card. It never came up, but like you have a lot of extra deck space, so you can kind of be as creative as you want.
Okay.
Side deck, double Taiga. This card's broken versus value. Double Vanity Fiend. This is for the go wide decks. Light Sworn, Amaryllis, anything that's kind of aggressive. Double DD Crow. I was originally on 1 DD Crow, 1 Soul Release, but I was expecting to play a ton of Dream Frog Mirrors. I played 3 Frog Mirrors. None of them were Dream Frog Mirrors, but like Crow was really good in the Dream Frog Mirror. Soul Release would have been better than the otherwise like Frog Mirrors. I was happy with it. Honestly, I wouldn't change, I think, anything about these 55 cards. Going to a different event, I may change my side, like depending on what event it would be, but otherwise I was really happy with 55. I'm playing the same thing tonight at this level. The second Lad, this card is a blowout against like a lot of rogue decks, and it's also, in my opinion, pretty good against Blackwing. I boarded this in with a second Soul Exchange against Blackwing, and it just kind of like eats a couple cards and kind of like it slows them down and lets you gather your resources. The second Lad kind of came in a lot. If it's not the mirror match and it's like not Life Sworn and it's not Quick Draw, I would want to see Lad. Even like against Vayu, like they're never going to hold the Vayu Sirocco and do the infinite move against this thing, so it comes up a lot. Vortex for the go wide next team is Dark Dust. The second Soul Exchange, this card is crazy. I usually put it in going second, especially if I'm putting Lad in. My Body is a Shield. This is becoming more standard as far as like Frog side decks go. This card single-handedly won me like 3 games. This I was going crazy and they oppressed me like twice, and this stopped the oppression. I was going crazy and tried to Icarus that stopped the Icarus attack, and they literally just lost out from there. Like, this card is crazy in Frogs. It has been played in the past, but like this card's wild. And then just 2 Deepers and 2 Dust. Like, it's kind of self-explanatory. I'm not crazy about the second Deepers, and I can maybe see myself cutting it for a Karma cut, but like, it put in work. It's really good against Vayu when you're putting, like, these are both in, because like you have Haiku, and then you're kind of killing them, but distance floodgating them, and then you have the Deepers, and they kind of back it up, so that kind of comes up a lot.
Also, a lot of mirror matches, I know that like they side out heavies, the MSTs, the back row removal, because they think you're just playing standard Frogs, and then you play stuff like that.
Yeah, they should see it coming, but they don't really see it coming. Honestly, I think the Frog Mirror is kind of dumb. Like, the first match usually determines the rest of the set, because the first match will be like a 25-minute back and forth, and then game 2 is like who got Vanity Fiend, and then you got the out, and then game 3 is who got Vanity Fiend, and then you got the out. So like it's like this. It honestly like feels like gambling. It's not like a true reflection of like the player skill. Sometimes it is, but like not often. But yeah, that's the list.
Well, good shit. Deep explanations. I didn't even have to ask many questions. You had a lot of input by yourself.
I appreciate it.
Well, I want to ask, your last match when you played, how was your match against Murray on the final match of Swiss?
Game 1, so this, I think Frogs against GB, GB is favored, but it's not as favored as everyone thinks. I think Frazier did a talk about this. It's not as favored as everyone thinks. When you pop off and you can like establish Duke Block early, especially if you can establish Duke Block very early and thin your deck out, you're just going to draw your bombs. It's a really good matchup for you. But if you like don't get going early, or if your hand is just like Swap Frog, Sentry, Born Pass, you're probably going to lose. But especially like when you're on like Soul Exchanges and like additional lads, and you can get these to stick. Or even you see Deepers and they don't really pop off. Like, it's not as bad of a matchup as everybody thinks. But it's not favored. But like it's not one of those.
good. Well, pretty good with the questioning. Congrats on making the top 16.
Hope I win it the next one.
Second place in Swiss.
Thank you.
Are you gonna make it to the next RBET?
Yes, I travel pretty frequently, so next whatever event it is, I'll probably be there.
I believe the next one is.
Well, congrats on the top, bro.
Next one, Canada.
Thank you, brother. Next one, I'm probably not gonna be Cali, not that one, but like all the ones I'm gonna be.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate it. Congratulations.
Anyone got any shout outs? Any shout outs?
Shout out to all the boys at GC. Shout out to GC being the training ground.
Yo, he almost died. Why did he almost die?
No, he's overreacting.
I'm not gonna do it. He almost
my
died.
GC family, thank you so much. Special shout out to Kenny, Jamal, Raheem, Nikki, Jake XO, Sean, Tony. There's too many people to name. My Florida gang, Jorge, Dom, Steve. I don't know. Shout out to James Ark, Bronte, and Denny Yu for like really building this deck and like kind of innovating on it. And yeah, shout out to my boy Carl Wade.
Carl Wade.
Awesome, man. Thank you again.
Alright, you too. We out here. Joe Grill signing out. My boy John signing out. Yeah. Peace.